I'm still very excited for the future of Zebec. I'm still very bullish. And when it comes to 10 cents, I get it. There's a pullback as of right now, but I feel like we haven't really seen the hypothetically true peak yet when it comes to ZBCN. So I still have that idea in my mind, again, 10 cents. But even though nothing I say is financial advice, something that I really like about Zebec is that, sometimes when we see a project out there, when the price is going down, they stop updating, they just don't care. But then they start updating again once the price is doing good. But when it comes to Zebec, it's not like that in the sense that even though the price of ZBCN is going down as of right now, of course, it had a very amazing, run, right? But of course, there's a pullback. But I'm just saying, even despite all that, Zebec is still doing things in a sense that, when I pay attention to the Zebec Cards Partnerships account on X, right? When I take a look at that, very recently, I saw new integrations for, meme coins. Of course, I'm talking about the cards, right? Also, not to mention, I saw new integration for, a layer one project. And this is very amazing because, again, it showcases that they're kind of indifferent to the price movement. Because when I first started talking about Zebec, there was news back then about it as well. Like they were still doing things, you know what I mean? And then when the price pumped and now there's a pullback, they're still doing things too. So this is a project that I think could maybe have amazing longevity because, the team I don't think is acting based on emotions, right? Because personally for me, I think anything done, at least in my opinion, like just in my case, right? Anything done under a high emotional state is typically not a good idea. So I don't like to see projects out there that kind of, do things based on emotions or based on the market because, of course, let's say when the market's doing very good, it's very easy, right, to update, very easy to talk about the project and all this type of stuff. But if the price is not doing good, sometimes these projects, they don't want to, talk about anything. They're just like, okay, yeah, because it's easier for them to just maybe, kind of not care about it. But Zebec isn't like that. They're still building and developing because I think they have a long-term mindset. Other projects out there, it just kind of feels like they want to be around for 1 or 2 cycles, maybe max. But then this one doesn't feel that way. This one kind of feels like, you know what? It's a project that is thinking about the long term, even beyond this bull run. So when people like to say, oh, Bitcoin's going to be around 30, 50 years later, I'm totally aware of that. I think it's still going to be around too. But when it comes to Zebec, I don't see why it won't be around at that time frame as well, at least in my opinion, because when I see a project that has aspects of RWAs, which this one does, aspects of AI-based PayFi, also not to mention, focused on payrolls, also focused on global trade and finance, the payments market, I just kind of feel that this is not something that is going to disappear. And I believe that Solana could hypothetically do so well during a fully fledged type of altcoin season. We've already seen it do very well back in 2021. We saw it do very well also not too long ago. But again, if let's say there's a fully fledged type of altcoin season, let's say this time around, I feel like something like Solana is one of the premier projects that could very well go along with the ride. And why is this amazing news, at least, maybe, if let's say Solana does well for the case of ZBCN? It's because if we take a look at ZBCN, very close ties to Solana, right? Not to mention, we take a look at not too long ago, maybe it might be a little bit different as of right now because the price is going down, but I'm just saying, like ZBCN, a while back ago, right? Or not too long ago, I should say, was a top 10 utility, or should I say in terms of utility, on Solana. So we could only imagine that. That's very amazing. Imagine all the projects on Solana. Sure, Solana isn't as massive as Ethereum. Of course, still has a ways to go, of course. But the way you take a look at it is that this is something that I do really like because if I said that not too long ago, like I was going to say, hey, ZBCN at one point is going to be top 10 in terms of utility on Solana. If I said it back then when I was first talking about Zebec, I feel like not many people would believe me. But as of right now, we've seen that happen. So yes, there's a pullback. Could the price go lower? We'll have to wait and see. But you know what? Whatever the price does, like in terms of how low it goes, I feel like maybe it may never go below to the price in which I was talking about it initially. Because when I was talking about, let's face it, the price wasn't doing that good whatsoever. Sure, it may be having a pullback as of right now, but will it go, as low as what it once was? I think probably not, because take a look at ADA, right? Cardano's native token. Not too long ago, or should I say a couple years ago, right? Like back then at one point, ADA was at the price of around a couple cents. Now we got to think about that. Then eventually it went to the price of depending on the site or exchange, like nearly $3 around that point. Again, it's going to differ in certain cases, but I'm just saying, once the price of ADA dropped, did it ever go to like the price of like, let's say 4 cents or whatever ever again? No. Sometimes in the world of cryptocurrencies, when we see things go up, sometimes they never go to the point in which it was once before in terms of the pullback. Like for instance, Bitcoin, when it had a bear market after the 2021 bull run, did it ever go back to the price of like $100? No, it did not, right? So when it comes to ZBCN, I kind of feel like the community is very strong. The project is very solid. It doesn't feel like a gimmicky thing to me. So yeah, sure, there's a pullback, but I think it may never go to the point in which it once was before. So I'm still very bullish when it comes to ZBCN, and I'm not going to give up. Now, the only thing I can control is myself, right? And because I know that and I'm aware of that, what am I going to do? Instead of, being extremely focused on the price movements of ZBCN each and every day, I'm just going to continue what I was doing before, just accumulating on a consistent basis, holding and just waiting. If there isn't even a fully fledged type of altcoin season yet, why would I just randomly be like, oh yeah, nah, man, I'm all good? It wouldn't make any sense because, again, if I believe in the future of Zebec, if I believe in the future of this whole space overall, I wouldn't give up as of right now. And I'm not telling anyone to do what I'm doing, by the way. I'm just speaking on my behalf. But again, I'm just not going to give up like that. That's not my style. And we have to think about the idea of 10 cents. Not too long ago, it didn't seem like too impossible. Now a lot of people are saying, oh, it's impossible because not too long ago it was around a 13x. And now because the price dropped, it's around an 18x. So I'm totally aware of that. But again, we have to consider that, let's say during a fully fledged bull run, if let's say that altcoin season really, arrives in a massive way, imagine what we saw when it comes to ZBCN back then. Not too long ago, actually, right? I'm just saying. Imagine what we saw when it comes to ZBCN like maybe a week ago, but then let's say maybe a lot better because ZBCN did that without a fully fledged type of altcoin season. We didn't see the whole altcoin space just randomly do very well like that. So if it was able to do that kind of on its own, what can it do if the market really is in fifth gear? Now that's a totally different story, which is why I don't think 10 cents is too much to ask for. And we got to think about this. At that point, right, at the price of 10 cents, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $8 billion. This is kind of like not really that much in the grand scheme of things. If people are predicting something like Dogecoin is going to reach like 150 billion or whatever in terms of market cap during this bull run, which it's a very tough task. It's a tall order, but you know what? Back in 2021, so years ago, Dogecoin did reach over 80 billion in terms of market cap. So it's just like even less than double that, basically. So we'll wait and see. But if people are saying that, right, what makes me think that around 8 billion in terms of market cap is too much to ask for when it comes to ZBCN, especially if I've already seen what it did before, or even what it's doing as of right now. It's way higher than which I started talking about it. So the way to take a look at it is that I don't see this as being a project that I'm going to give up on. I still believe in it and I really like its future and I'm not going to give up. And again, the idea of 10 cents wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm a peace. Bye.